Why do I like and support Ted Cruz? Well, first, I want to address the race just in general and some comments about Donald Trump. Um, you know, a while back, I made a video of why I don't support Donald Trump, and I still stick to that belief now, as these weeks have gone by. And it's primarily because I don't have a lot of trust in Trump. And it's also because I see a lot of hypocrisy come from him. And I don't really like the way that he conducts himself. So, those are some primary issues that I have with Trump. Um, I don't like how he attacks and insults other people rather than just sticking to the issues and talking about the issues. Um, so that's a big issue that I have with Trump. Now, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. If he actually follows through with some of the things that he says, I think it might be beneficial. And I use that word might because I'm not like one of these, diehard Trump fans that will stick with him through literally anything that the man does, whether it's good or bad. I am not that kind of a person. I'm the kind of person that looks at the evidence and looks at and asks the question, gee, should I really support this guy based on what I know? I'm not just a sheep that blindly follows some leader or whatever. I actually use my own reasoning to think about these things, and I have my own questioning, and I don't listen to the media. I think for myself. I'm a free thinker when it comes to this. And what's disturbing is that for most of Donald's life, he has supported same-sex marriage. He has supported abortion. He has actually given money to the Clintons. He even said that he likes Hillary Clinton. I think that was back in 1999 with an interview with Tim Russert. Again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. People can change. But for most of his adult life, he's had these views. They say that he's flexible and that he can change here or there on a whim. Is that the type of president that you want? One that is able to change his views and beliefs just like that? Doesn't seem like he is very secure in his beliefs. And that's primarily why Bob Dole and um, ex-president Jimmy Carter said that they supported Trump because he's malleable, meaning that he doesn't have a set of beliefs, that he's one that they can make deals with and get to do what they want him to do. And I don't know about you, but that seems like what we have had for all these years. Somebody that's willing to compromise and to make deals with everyone and allow the corruption and the craziness to continue. That's the last thing we need in another president. We don't need somebody that's going to compromise and is going to make deals in Washington. What we do need is someone that has a proven record, that sticks to their guns, that knows exactly what they're going to do and what they're going to do and will actually do it, and somebody that you can trust and that has been defending the Bill of Rights and Constitution over and over and over and over. And that's primarily why I am supporting Ted Cruz, because he actually follows through with what he says. He displays good character. He doesn't respond in kind to people that throw attacks at him. And that's something that I like and I admire and that I would want in a president. I want a president that will conduct himself in a respectful, polite manner, even when the heat and the attacks are coming his way. I want somebody that is secure and is confident and is in control with how they behave and with how they respond. And on every single issue that Ted Cruz has promoted and is running on, he has also fought for. And he's exactly right that if a politician says something, the natural follow-up question is, well, show me where you've actually stood and fought for that. Because if you haven't, then it's not a really good sign, and you really probably shouldn't be putting a lot of trust in that person. But somebody that can actually show what they've actually done and can back up what they're saying, that's what counts. That's what matters. And that's also why Washington and the media really despise Ted Cruz. And if you haven't noticed, most of his videos, people will give you tons and tons of dislikes on them because they don't like Ted Cruz. And you want to know why they don't like Ted Cruz? They don't like Ted Cruz because he's a proven conservative, he's a Christian, and the secular media hates that. They hate the fact that he's a Christian. They hate the fact that Ted Cruz would try to stop abortion. They hate the fact that Ted Cruz wants to support and protect traditional marriage. They hate that. They absolutely abhor and hate that because people hate God. They hate God in this country, and that's why they hate Ted Cruz. And it's said right in the scriptures that if you are for him, the world will hate you. If the world doesn't hate you, you're not doing something right. Because this world lives, and its leader is Satan, and people love sin and they hate God. So, of course, they're naturally not going to like somebody that is promoting and speaking the truth. And we know this to be the case because even Christ himself was spit on, he was persecuted, and finally crucified. So, those are some big reasons why I support Ted Cruz. I myself am a professing Christian. I myself would like the country to return to its Judeo-Christian principles and roots that this country was founded on. Many of our founders were godly men that believed in God. I'll give you, I'll say that not all of them were Christians, but a lot of them were, and a lot of them did believe in a creator or God. So this country just really needs to get back on track, back on the right path, and I feel that Ted Cruz is the man to do that. Not only that, but a lot of the people that have endorsed him, like Dr. James Dobson, is a well-known Christian speaker and somebody that I can trust and that has a lot of wisdom and a lot of truth that he shares. And so for him to get behind him is a plus. There's Dr. Michael Brown, who is another Christian that has a YouTube channel here, Ask Dr. Brown. And I really like what he says. I like a lot of his content and videos. He's a really good speaker, and he's done wonderful things. And I wholeheartedly am happy that he got behind Ted Cruz. And now with the governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, endorsing him, that's another really big thing because he is a great governor that is trying to protect liberties for the people of Texas, like the Second Amendment. And Ted Cruz is really hardcore Second Amendment. He will protect your right to bear arms. So there's so many reasons that I could give. And, in the last debate when Ted Cruz really drilled and asked Donald straightforward questions, Donald just simply would not answer. Instead, he would, counter with insults. He called Ted Cruz a basket case because he gets riled up because he knows that he can't really say anything when his record basically says everything completely opposite of what Trump is saying now. So those are things that you got to look at, and you can't just blindly follow someone because you hope that they're going to do some of the things they say they're going to do, but rather look at where they've actually stood up and fought for the things that they're saying. And if they haven't, there's a pretty good chance they're not going to follow through with what they're saying. So, that's the test, You shall know them by their fruits. Well, what are the fruits of Donald Trump? Are they good fruit, or is it good fruit, or is it bad fruit? Um, and again, just look at the way that he conducts himself. There is a good approach to all of this, and there's a right way to address these problems in the country. So that's my heated pep talk. And, we'll find out a lot more, I guess, on Super Tuesday, this Tuesday, when a bunch of states vote. If Ted Cruz can win Texas and it turns into a two-man race between Donald and Ted Cruz, that's a good thing because that gives Cruz a greater chance at becoming the nominee and winning this thing. If that doesn't happen, then in all likelihood, it's either going to be really like close race or Donald Trump's just going to sweep the floor and he's going to win the whole thing. Although I'd mention that if he does end up being the nominee and he goes up against Hillary or whoever the Democratic nominee is, he will have a very hard time winning against Hillary simply for the fact that Donald Trump was a big supporter of Hillary Clinton. He gave them money. He gave the Clintons money in his past. So he can't really say anything when Clinton attacks him. And that's primarily why he will more than likely lose. And because what can you say to someone when they come out and attack you with something that you actually stood by? He can't just simply say, well, I'm different now. My views have changed. Well, where's the evidence to suggest any of that? And so people would probably naturally gravitate towards Clinton, unfortunately. And we really don't need another Clinton in the White House, just like we don't need another Bush. And I think it was good that Jeb dropped out. So I just really hope that, Cruz wins this thing. And, to be honest, I trust Cruz, Kasich, Rubio, or Ben Carson over Donald Trump. And that's just my opinion, and I'm looking at that based on how I've come to know a lot of the candidates that I've watched now since the beginning of this race. And, I've watched every single debate since this race has started, and I've seen the way that they've acted, and I've seen the way that they conduct themselves. And let me tell you something, Donald Trump is really, says one thing, do another thing. He's willing to change his beliefs. He comes out as a really nice guy, only then to attack someone later. I remember when he was making fun and mocking Ben Carson's testimony as he became a Christian, and then started saying, "Oh, Ben Carson's such a nice guy, such a nice guy," when there was that whole scandal about Cruz stealing the votes from Ben Carson, when in fact it was CNN that didn't put out a full story about what Ben Carson was actually doing. They withheld information, and the Cruz campaign just simply relayed that to everyone else because that's what CNN said. And